Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Sharpe Way. Yes, it is Monday. And what does Monday mean? It means it is Monday. Ask me anything. Yes, Sharpe Way Monday AMA. You can ask me any questions you like. I'm happy. I will try to answer them all to the best of my ability. If you're here early, that's awesome. Please do me a small favor. Like, comment, and share to get more people on so more people can see this. The only way we grow our libertarian media is if we grow our libertarian media, which means you have to like, comment, and share. Let those algorithms know that this matters, right? Retweet. If you're retweeting all those cool things, let the algorithms know that we are rocking and rolling, that people are here and that they want to hear what we have to say. Of course, if you can like me on Facebook, please go to the Sharpe Way Facebook page, like me there, and also go to the Sharpe Way YouTube, subscribe, and also click the bell so you get notifications. And of course, follow me on Sharpe Way Twitter. If you haven't, please go there right now. It does matter. And if you've got some cash, you're doing well, great. Head on Patreon/Sharpe Way. Throw me a couple bucks so I can keep doing this. If you're not in a good spot where it's not good for you, and a lot of people are not, no worries. Like, comment, and share is free. You can do that absolutely free. I want to bring up something. I want to start this being local for a second, then I'm happy to get to all your questions and comments. But the first thing I want to bring up, if I could, is New York, my own state, my own governor, Governor Cuomo, who I ran against in 2018. Without question, I told you all, if you pay attention to my campaign, that New York State's a battleground state. Oh, it's a battleground state. Yes, it is. It's a battleground state. What happens in New York will eventually happen someplace else. Yes, it will. All the time. It's going to go out there. Cuomo now is talking about, my governor, that he doesn't have enough money to pay for unemployment anymore. So he has to ask the federal government to pay for unemployment. He's also worried about pensions. Yeah, these are all the things that I spoke about when I was running for office in 2018. I warned New Yorkers. I said, you don't understand. These states are in trouble. New York's in trouble. Back then, this is almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, New York had a $4 billion deficit. Now it was over 6 before the COVID. Now it's going to be, who knows, $16-17 billion deficit. Yeah, just deficit. The debt was $400 billion. What's it going to be? 500 billion, 600 billion? Who knows? And people always told me, Larry, don't worry. They have to pay. It's in the Constitution. They have to pay. The pensions are fine. You're in New York. Your pensions are gone. I've been telling you that for years. And I told you I was the only governor who would recognize that and begin negotiations immediately. Begin talking. How do we make this fair for the people who've already paid in? Fair for the people who are still getting? Fair for the people who are going to get? How do we make it fair for everybody with this horrible pension system? And you all laughed at me and said, ha, 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 Larry, it's all good. Well, you may not be laughing in a couple years when all of a sudden your pension that was $300K a year, yes, some people get $300K a year, is all of a sudden 100 overnight. Or you were planning on getting 150, now you're getting 50. Or worse, you're getting nothing. And it's just going to default. In case you weren't paying attention, Mitch McConnell has already talked about states going bankrupt. He talked about it already. They floated that already in the air, the idea of states going bankrupt. That's floating out now because in the future, when they bring it up again, you won't be so shocked because default is what's going to wind up happening. So what are they all doing? Crying for the federal government to give them money. Why? Because the federal government can just print money. It has a central bank. We have the Fed. Crank out that money. That's all they're asking for. You see it more and more and more. This is a huge issue. And you might not think it matters in your state, but as New York goes, so does your state. Don't forget that. As New York goes, your state's coming. Don't think it's just going to be me sitting here in my bunker by myself. You'll be joining me in your own bunker as we watch it all begin to collapse. This is a big deal, guys. We're going to start rethinking everything. This is our time to make real impact and try to change something. The sad part is most people are just sitting back and saying, okay, and that's it. So let me go down a couple. Thank you. Yes, you were first. Absolutely. 100%. Larry, how are you? Yes. I choose this over Andrew Yang, and we love you. I love you too. Thank you so much. I love that. Sharpe VP, rocking and rolling. Yes. And yes, these actually, Aaron, sadly, we are the non-essentials, I guess, right? Is that what we are? We're still sitting here working. Yes, Carl. Hey, how you doing? Sup, Jesse? Appreciate that. So glad. Good. I don't know what you mean by this, love. Can you give me a specific question on this? What do you mean by how it affects? Please tell me what you mean by that, if you would. So what exactly is the gray Sharpe version of universal basic income? It's a great question. The judge has done a great. If you guys want to go over to the YouTube, for those of you who care, not YouTube, go over to the Facebook page. Judge Jim Gray, Larry Sharpe 2020 Facebook page, and he did a video on exactly what he meant by the version of he calls it the negative income tax. It's not actually universal basic income. It's very close. It's not exactly that. Not everybody gets it. That's the difference. Universal basic income, for those you don't know, everybody gets. In negative income tax, only people who don't make a certain amount of money get it. So it's a little bit of a difference. Okay. So is there a chance I will be on Joe Rogan again? Yes, absolutely. I think it will. I think I will be able to do that. Once we get the nomination, that is when I think a lot of the bigger media outlets will jump on us. Many of them have already been talking about it, but they're kind of waiting for the actual nomination because they don't know exactly who's going to win. I hope, obviously, I'm totally biased. I hope the judge wins. I want Judge Gray to be our nominee. So I hope it is him. And if it's him and me, then we will absolutely be going on places like Joe Rogan. Do I believe the lockdown will continue past May 15th? Actually, I think we'll be opening up before then. We'll begin opening up before then. And the issue is they're already seeing food shortages, price hikes, raise in suicides, domestic violence. The damage that this is creating, they're already beginning to see. And at one point, the people, the governors simply can't resist. I'm happy that some of the other states, not New York, I wish it was New York, but other states are at least beginning to open up because then other states can learn from them. That, by the way, is the glory of this type of system, right? It's the glory of this type of system that you have different states, localities, municipalities, states, communities deciding to open up on their own and to see how it works. They can use their own way of doing it in the ways that they want to do it, and we can watch and see how that works. So I think by the 15th, we will be opening up. I'm not sure we'll be open, but I think we'll be opening up. We'll also be able to see what happened in Sweden. Sweden was much more open than us. We'll see how that worked, what went well, what didn't go well. As long as we're paying attention, I think we will. So this is an issue, right? No state bailouts. Solaris, I'm going to ask you a crazy question. What do you do then? How do you not do a state bailout? Do you just let the states that made errors and all their people collapse? I guess you could, right? I guess you could. The question is in this case, is the damage too high? Now, I know the libertarian answer is always no bailout. I get it. I hate bailouts. I don't want them either. The reality of it is this government fixing a government problem? If that makes any sense, right? Is it not a bailout? Is it, in this case, kind of like reparations in a way, right? All of the damage that this virus is doing to our economy is self-inflicted, right? It's not that the virus came by it and said, shut us down. No one lost their job. That's not true, not no one. The vast majority of people did not lose their job because of COVID. They lost their job because the government shut them down. The people who got ill and died, obviously they lost their jobs because they got ill. I got that. Those people did. But the average American who isn't affected by this, they lost their job because the government said you can't work. You're non-essential or whatever they said. And my governor said, just go get an essential job because he's a horrible person. And my terrible state keeps voting for him. I don't know why they do it, but damn it, they just keep voting for him. 3 times, by the way. They put that horrible person in office 3 times. My state did. So a lot of you hardcore libertarians saying, well, America's ready for libertarianism. My state put that guy in 3 times in a row. A guy who just says, go get a job then. What's wrong with you? He has no idea what getting a job is even about. Anyway, so I agree with you. So in theory, in practice, I wonder how you make that happen. I don't think it's that easy, right? Pete says the borrowing will inflate the country's debt to 101% of the GDP. Yes, we're already on our way for that. The first time since World War II. And yeah, Pete, everything you're saying here, 100% true. If we don't open up quickly, try our damnedest to get our economy going. and I'm a bit radical in this one. I think a lot of libertarians will be happy with this one. I'm a little bit radical here. I'm about lower all trade restrictions, all of them. Get rid of every single one of them. I'm usually the abolish guy, but I think in this case maybe I am. We're in a desperate spot. Don't even hey, that's it. All trade open. And people will say, but Larry, they have tariffs against us. Okay, we have none against them. Just let's start. The biggest issue people don't realize is they think we're running out of money, and it's a money problem. It's not a money problem. It's a commerce problem. My governor is so backward and so wrong, but he is what most people think. He literally said this. He said, it's silly. Why won't you fund the local governments so we can have police force and so we can have, the hospitals? Why would you fund them? Why wouldn't the federal government fund us so that the businesses can work? They can't work without us. That's what he said. Not realizing, where's that money come from? The businesses that then make money and pay taxes to pay for cops and hospitals. Not even his head. He thinks he's the savior and the businesses are in the way. He's just allowing us to work because, that's our hobbies. That's how he talks. He doesn't get that. It's the reverse. That if the businesses are moving forward, then they're going to pay his taxes so that he can have his job. That's how that works. Doesn't get it. Said it openly, like everyone else was stupid, couldn't believe it, and then said it was a terrible, it's the Republicans versus Democrats. That's the reason why. No, because you guys don't understand the basics. It's not a lack of money. It's a lack of commerce. Increased commerce means more money. More money means you can pay for cops and hospitals. I know, crazy, right? But our governor doesn't get that. And the sad part is, no one in the media corrected him. No one challenged him. No one corrected him. No one said, no, that's wrong. Because they either don't know either or don't care. That's where we are. I'm sorry, it's going to sound terrible. I apologize. It sound terrible. Yes. So I guess I'm on this bad thing, right? I don't mean to be so negative in this case. I'm sorry. So yeah, but I did warn you. Thank you. Yes, I did. Absolutely. From a libertarian perspective, what should be done about China? They steal IP and control certain aspects of our supply chain and have an evil government. All of this is true. It's absolutely true, right? And the answer, believe it or not, is more and more transparency and breaking up of monopolies in America. I'm not joking, right? This is how the Germans did it, but not that way. That's how they did it. The Germans don't have as many monopolies as we have. They have many more smaller manufacturing plants within Germany. That's one of the reasons. There are many, obviously. That's one of the reasons why, even though they have some horrible employment laws, some terrible employment laws, they're still able to have a vibrant economy because of how they've done that. They don't have as many monopolies and oligarchies as we have. They have a lot smaller businesses doing manufacturing, things of that sort. If we were to encourage that and work on that, what would happen is you then tell the Chinese government, if you want to function within our world, you have to follow our rules. The problem is when you have monopolies, buying from China just makes sense. And monopolies are happy paying any problem or issues or concerns. They don't care. They'll pay the fines just so they can keep making money from China. So the first thing would be to break up monopolies and oligarchies by supporting small and medium-sized businesses so they can decide where they want to build and make. And when you have more manufacturing in America, not because you force it, right, as both Trump and Cuomo say, just use the government and force people to do that. Not because of that, but because you create an environment where they want to do that, right? Because it makes sense for you to have more smaller, medium-sized manufacturing companies in the United States. Then there'll be more options for people to select from, right? And now people also will feel safer. So I could get my stuff made in China and it'll be dirt cheap, but they'll steal my IP. Or I can get it made in a couple places in America who will be afraid if they steal my IP that either they'll be punished or I won't use them anymore. You will find a whole lot less IP theft in America than you will in China. Will some people steal? Absolutely. We can't stop that. But if you give people more options, they won't. But there's another piece. You've got to change how people buy. What do I mean by that? All right, I'll give you an example I brought up before in the past. In New York State, we have a thriving is the wrong word. We have a good, strong craft beer industry in New York State. And many people who like craft beers will absolutely happily decide to pay a little bit extra to get a locally crafted, locally made beer. They happily pay an extra buck or two. It's fun. It's part of our culture. It's who we are. New York State, it's very common. People do it all the time. The question is, are we prepared to pay 25 cents more for a pack of crayons at a Walmart or a big box store? If we're not, they're going to keep buying from China. But if we shine a light on this, as I say all the time, when you are an executive, when you are a president, a mayor, a governor, you can still change policy and you can still change the culture without having to use force. If I would just talk about this all the time, guys, every time you buy from China, you're helping out an evil government, as you say. You're helping out a government that encourages theft of IP. You're encouraging that. Are you okay with that? You're screwing your local guy. You're good with that? Keep buying. You're not. Buy American. I don't have to pass a law. I don't have to make rules. I'll just keep doing that. It will change. How do I know that? Craft beers. Perfect example. It does happen. As cultures change, the Chinese will have to change because people won't buy their stuff anymore. So they'll have to change. So that may take longer, but trying to fight China, what am I going to do? Bomb them? What am I going to do? Make it a trade embargo? Well, that's going well. These things don't work. I have to get the consumer to realize this is a bad idea and have them stop. So that's the issue. So, yes, Texas is opening. I'm very happy about that. That's awesome. Larry, skip Gov, run for president. No, thank you, Ryan. I don't even want to be running for VP right now. That was just thrown on me. So I'm just doing that. Maybe governor. Maybe that'll work. We'll see. Yes, maybe that'll happen. We'll see. So a couple of days ago, you posted about private companies being responsible for roads. I shared your post, and a liberal friend of mine asked the following question. What would a company build and maintain a road that leads anywhere else than their stores? If they did that to enable parcel services to bring their goods to customers, why would they let anyone else use their roads for free and not charge high price from private citizens of the companies? Why would they want to build or maintain? These are all great questions. Let me be very clear. This is an important piece, and I'm glad you brought this up. My idea for companies maintaining roads, remember, I'm a business guy. I'm not going to sell the assets. The problem is people always assume that my plan was privatizing roads. That was not my plan at all. Still is not my plan. I don't think America's ready for that at all. No. The plan was leasing naming rights to roads. That's what it was. So in exchange for fixing roads or having maintenance on the road, you would have all rights for advertisements on the road. That's what it would be. The road's still owned by the local community or by the state or whatever. But then the fees are now paid, right? So now the local group makes money, and now the roads get fixed, right? So that's how that works. Or just pothole repair, right? You repair the pothole, you get to put and Domino's are doing this. You get to put the Domino's symbol on the pothole. Well, instead of having Domino's symbols all over the place, the entire area of the road, the I-80 or whatever it is, right? And I say, Larry, that's an interstate run by the federal government. Yeah, maybe I don't want the federal government money because that money comes with strings and administration and costs. So maybe I say, I don't want your money, federal government. Instead, I'll have Domino's or insert company here fix that road. The assumption your friend has is that the company buys the road and would only buy roads that will go to their store or will be on there and they would charge fees. There's no fees. There's no tolls on these roads. This is just a road that right now taxpayers are paying to maintain. I'm saying whatever amount of space that they want, whatever, Domino's Pizza, 3M, whomever wants whoever wants that part of the road, they get it, and only they can put their sign on it. They get a big sign saying, this road brought to you by McDonald's or whatever, right? We already have that. We have adopt the road programs all across the country that now instead the road is now cleaned by this group of people. Now it's maintained by them. This isn't crazy at all. You'd only see road signs and a McDonald's sign, and that's all you'd see, or road signs and a Pizza Hut sign. So why would someone else want on the road? Because if Pizza Hut owns all the roads, owns all the leasing rights to all the roads, people are seeing Pizza Hut signs everywhere. Well, Domino's wants some of that. Papa John's wants some of that. Well, then they pick up some roads too. That's why. They might say, well, Larry, there are some roads that are, bad or poor people roads or whatever that her issue might be. Remember something. I'm not getting rid of the people who work for the government yet who fix roads. They're not gone. So guess what? Poor people get better service because now the people aren't fixing the interstate anymore because, McDonald's has got that, 3M's got that. So the people who be fixing that now fix local roads. So local roads get better service. Everyone gets better service. No tolls on any roads. And if you live in New York State, there's tolls on every goddamn road. So no tolls on any roads, better service for everybody. And if the private market picks up all the road maintenance, then we can get rid of all the people who work for the government. And you say, well, Larry, we're losing jobs then. No, we're not. Pizza Hut still has to hire people who know how to fix roads. They'll take the government people and they'll hire them. So the people who fix roads still keep jobs. Here's the difference. Who pays for it? Not us. Taxpayer burden goes down. If you like Pizza Hut or McDonald's or 3M, please buy their products because you like their products. Let the consumer decide. That's how that works. So it isn't privatizing roads, right? Instead, it is leasing naming rights, which means the state or the county still owns the road, can still inspect the road, can still make sure it's still safe. And if it isn't, that company loses the contract. New company comes in. Jobs aren't lost, right? Because as the government workers get pushed out, eventually, hopefully they will get totally pushed out, they get picked up by the companies who are still fixing the roads. In fact, the roads get fixed better service for everybody. I hope I answered your question. So, what book best encompasses libertarian philosophy the best? What book best shaped your worldview? This is tough, right? People think I came here from academia. I didn't. So it's hard. Probably my favorite one is probably Bastiat's The Law. It's the simplest, smallest. Maybe that's the best one. So, yeah, I like that one. All right. I was waiting for the UBI question. What UBI question is that? Okay. I don't know how anyone is with telling me I can't run my business and support my family. I agree. It's terrible. It's terrible. Good. What do you think is a fair tax? Look, to be forward, it's all bad. It's all bad. If we can make it better, let's make it better. The idea that, if looking at what's happening now, the idea that we could all of a sudden end taxation somehow, there's no difference in me saying, I'm going to make a unicorn fly out of the sky. Odds are exactly the same. Same exact odds. I might as well just do that. It's not going to happen. If you remember when I was running for office, I was talking about eliminating state income tax. That was over the course of 4 years. That was not abolish it tomorrow. Not going to happen. No way. No way the Assembly was going to deal with the Senate, the people of New York State. No way they would have accepted that. They would not have accepted it. It's a fantasy. Could I have negotiated it out after 4 years? Yes, and I had a plan for exactly that. Any type of taxation that will make things fairer, if we can make it better, I'm in. Right now, all that's going to happen is since they can't raise taxes, and some people are actually already raising taxes, they're going to start using law enforcement as a profit center. And it's already happening. Cops running around trying to collect money because what else can you do? So they're going to turn our cops into pirates. Literally. They're going to turn our cops into road brigands. That's what they're going to turn them into. Highwaymen. They're going to turn them into that. And what are the cops going to do? They need jobs too. They're going to say, I can feed my family or I can quit. Feed my family. Guess I'm a pirate now. That's going to happen again and again and again. So fair tax, fine. Make it better. Make it better. So 96% of libertarians want teachers to conceal carry firearms at work. See, this is my issue. I am absolutely not in favor of having teachers carry firearms. What I'm in favor of is allowing those teachers who legally can and who want to, making it easy to legally carry, of course, and who want to do so. Those who want to, right? There are some teachers who don't want to carry. Don't, right? Some who don't want a gun at all. Don't. Some who don't want to bring their gun to school. Don't. You should absolutely do what you feel is right for you. Be you. Defend yourself. Live your values. Defend yourself your way. If you're someone who wants to carry, 100%. If you don't want to, So I want to make sure that I want to make some clarity on that. I don't want teachers to carry. I want teachers to be able to carry if they want to. And I know it's a nuance, but I think it's a very important nuance. All right. In some states, various business owners are opening up for the debate despite, for business despite the stay-at-home orders. They're still taking precautions. Yeah, I think they should, and they are. There's literally people who are being arrested for doing things in their home they shouldn't be doing. As I said, they're going to turn police into pirates. They're starting it already. How else are you going to fund the local governments? How else are you going to fund? The government is a beast that needs to be fed. Someone's going to feed it. If we don't actually stop and slow spending and or find other ways to raise money besides taxation, this doesn't end. We can sit here and cry and whine. It doesn't end until one of those two things are true. So I'm agreeing with you, Bucks. It's horrible. I wish it wasn't happening, but what do you expect the cops to do? Sit in their basement too and not go to work? They're not gonna. They don't go to work. And when they tell the cops, be a pirate, the cops are gonna be pirates. Don't get me wrong, you will have some cops quit. You will. You have some cops quit. And the sad part, the cops that are gonna quit are gonna be the best cops and the ones that we really wish did not quit. Those are the ones who are going to quit. The ones that we really, really wish didn't quit. And the ones we wish would quit, those cops, they're going to be in heaven. Loving life. And a bunch of cops are going to want to become apathetic. They're going to self-medicate because they're going to hate what they're doing. But it's going to happen unless we make changes. So, I cannot see how we have enough time to get the party on the ballot. Too many restrictions in place with current issues. Kathy, this one I'm not sure. My gut tells me that we can sue and we can win. This is literally what a force majeure. Am I saying it? Probably I've seen it in contracts all the time. I hope I'm saying it correctly. It's an act of God, right? So this is an exception to almost every rule, right? The government decided that we couldn't do this and can't do that. So I think the odds of us suing, and this for the Libertarian Party, for those of you who aren't paying attention, the Libertarian Party wants to be on the ballot in all 50 states, and it can be challenging. Very often it can be challenging to do so. Rules and regulations, deciding on how we can get ballot access, it can be challenging. The issue here is we can sue and probably win. The odds are high. This is very special circumstances. I hope that makes sense. So thoughts on Governor Cuomo canceling some elections and sending everyone in New York absentee applications. Look, I'm actually not against mail-in voting. I voted by mail the first several times I voted. I was overseas as a Marine. I couldn't come back. There was no email voting in the 80s. You couldn't do that. It didn't exist. So I voted by mail. I still remember I sent my ballot into an APO in San Francisco, air post office for the Air Force. And I was a Marine, but they still sent it to the Air Force, I guess. I guess they controlled it. It was in San Francisco. And I sent in my ballot to that post office. I still remember because it was odd because I was voting from New York, but I was sending my ballot to San Francisco. That's why I still remember that 30 years ago. I remember that it went. I was like, why is this going to San Francisco? I don't live in California. But so I'm not against that aspect. I hate the fact that we're canceling elections. I do. Not the end of the world. It sucks, but not the end of the world. I don't. The problem is if Cuomo does it, and this is going to sound horrible, but I really mean it. If Cuomo does it, I don't trust it. So odds are there was something that was going to help him. He is a very selfish person. And if you remember when he was talking about opening up, this is a true. If you guys watch the video, maybe I'll put it up tomorrow from part of my my news segment. There's a part where my Governor Cuomo and a reporter asks him. She says, "What about the people who are here protesting? They don't have jobs. They didn't get the unemployment checks. They can't survive." He said, "Go get a job as an essential employee, blah, blah, blah. Go get a job." Like that could be done easily. And then he said, well, the other alternative is death. And then he literally said this, death could be my death. Well, I guess he's so goddamn important. His death's far worse than anyone else's death, right? Anybody's death is horrible for the people who love that person. It doesn't matter who it is, right? If you love someone, That death of that person is horrible for you. But he believes he's important and special. So the fact that he does it absolutely makes me feel that there's something shady about that. So that's my answer on that. So, all right. Yes, we are seeing meat shortages because they're not working. Yes. And restaurants aren't going to open. Yes, absolutely. This is hurting so many people. So many people. And we don't get it. We're going to see food shortages. The damage is going to be done. And it's going to be horrible here in America. Worse outside the country. When you look at undeveloped countries that have massive amounts of poor, countries in sub-Saharan Africa, countries in parts of the Middle East, countries in Southern Asia, some parts of South America. Oh my God, the death and destruction. What the people who are so angry about us trying to open up the economy don't understand. What is the absolute biggest factor in the death and despair and pain and suffering of humans? It's not the mosquito. The mosquito does kill about 1 million humans every year, so it's a horrible predator. But worse than that, poverty. Poverty. Just in India, there are almost 50 million people who live hand to mouth. If they can't work that day, they can't eat that day. That's how bad they are. And that's just India. 50 million people are in that area. Sit there and live there daily. Think about China. Think about parts of Europe. Think about parts of sub-Saharan Africa. Think about parts of the Middle East. Now, there's some in America that way too. We're obviously a lot less in America compared to others, but there's some in America too that way, right? But there's 50 million in one country. All those people are going to suffer tremendously. You're completely right. Yes. Will the Immigration Administration pursue to end the Federal Reserve? 100% yes. Absolutely yes. But here's the nuance here. You will almost never hear me use the phrase end the Fed. And the reason why I don't use the phrase end the Fed is because the average American still believes the Fed is helping us, saving us, is our only hope. They still believe that. I tell a story often, but I'll tell it real fast here. Again, for those of you who haven't heard before. I teach when I work. One of the things I do is I teach in New York City, and I teach leadership, teach networking, business, things like that. So I'm in a leadership class, and the people in the class, all the students in the class, the attendees, they are all educated, licensed professionals. All of the people in the class are educated, licensed professionals, about 25 or so. I never talk about politics unless it's during a break or lunch and they ask about it. It came up during one of the breaks. It's probably about 15, 20 people in the room. And I hear some guy say, hey, do you guys know that in 2009, the Fed really saved us. I'm so glad we have a Fed, right? So glad we have a Fed. Saved us 2009. And I just said, oh, hey, guys, do you guys know that the Fed's a private bank? They went, no, it isn't. Not one. All of them thought I was the crazy one. I said, yeah, it's basically a banking cartel is what it basically is. No, it isn't. No, it's part of the government. I said, Google it. Again, this is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. So they all had phones. So I said, Google it. They Google it. They all figured out, oh my God, it's right. I said, also, the Fed just magically makes money, just prints money? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. They didn't believe it. Again, a room filled of educated, licensed professionals didn't know that. Not one of them. Not even one said, yeah, Larry's right. No, they're all like, Larry's crazy. And the best part is, when I said the first thing they thought was wrong, and they went, wow, Larry's right. When I said the second thing, they didn't go, maybe this guy's right. No, they didn't. They went, no, you're wrong. That's how deeply embedded in their minds this is. So you want me to just go end the Fed? I might as well say, I'm going to shoot your favorite aunt. No difference. I'm gonna hang your favorite uncle. That's not going to work. They believe it. So my answer is audit the Fed. That's it. Audit the Fed. Why audit the Fed? Because again, the average American believes it's part of the government, so we can audit it. And the reality of it is, we can't really audit the Fed. They're a private bank. You can't just decide to randomly audit the Fed, can you? Now all of a sudden, the press actually gets involved and goes, hey, wait a minute. We have a central bank? We do? Yes, guys, most of America does not know we have a central bank. I live in New York City. I talk to people all the time. Most of them do not know that we have a central bank. How in the world can we end the Fed when 80% of the population thinks it's not part of the government and that it's helping us tremendously and that it's amazing? So audit the Fed first so people have the conversation. Once they have the conversation and they realize, oh my God, the Fed, it's just a banking cartel that's putting us more and more into debt every single year. They're the reason for these boom bust economy. They're the reason for the wealth gap in the United States. Oh my God, they're the reason for most of our financial problems. Yes, American people, it's true. You got it. Why don't we end it? So to your question, yes, that is what I want to do. It's just not going to happen overnight. And once the American people figure it out, then we start having an actual way of ending the Fed. Figuring out how do we restructure our money? How do we redo that, right? How does that work? And then how does the rest of the world function when they realize we're not going to have a central bank anymore? It changes diplomacy. It changes our military. It changes a lot. Ending the Fed changes a lot in the world, which is why when the powerful people start seeing that we're going to end it, at least there won't be a civil war over it, I hope. And we can have actual conversations on how we move forward. So I hope that was a good answer. So, Fred, I didn't think that was true. I'm telling you the truth. I didn't think the media was the biggest problem. I didn't believe that prior to this COVID-19 crisis. I thought it was a problem, but big. I was like, it's not that bad. So what? It's fractured media. It's fine. But if you've been watching, and as some of you probably have, if you've been watching CNN, Fox, MSNBC, I mean, they literally have body counts every day. It's COVID, coronavirus every day. Of course, everyone's scared. Of course, 80% of Americans still want to stay in their house. Of course they do. They watch TV and everybody's dying. Everybody's not dying. But on TV, you're watching the body count click. It's live. Click. Oh, another one died. Terrible. Fred, it's a very valid point. We have a big problem with our media, and they are one of the reasons why we've had such a big problem, because not only have they fed this, but none of anyone in any of the mainstream. I know people who are on the left think Fox is the crazy one. People who are on the right go CNN's the crazy one. Neither of them have actually done something directly to say, no, this is the wrong way of handling it. It's not black or white. It's not Corona is a hoax and doesn't matter and keep the country open, or Corona's the apocalypse. That's what we keep hearing. There's a middle ground that very few people have picked up on. So, yes. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad you're voting for me. I appreciate that. Yes. How do you feel about our government bankrupting people? That's exactly what's happening, Joey. You said it perfectly. Yes. But sadly, you don't go far enough. Bankrupting people and destroying their livelihood and destroying their families and breaking their psyches. So yes, and I go further. I see you, Joey, and I raise you. A broken psyche, a crushed family. Yes, all of that. Bankrupting and more. And this is the worst part. This is a self-inflicted wound. We basically took a knife and stabbed ourselves in the chest and go, oh, knives suck. No, you stabbed yourself with a knife. That's what happened. You're completely right. And it's embarrassing. It's horrible. And the fix is going to be hard. The problem with this, more than anything else, I was already talking to people about how do we get New York State and America out of debt and changing everything. Right? I was already talking about how we do that. We're 10 years behind now because of this. Yes. The odds of my kids having a debt-free country just went down. It's horrible. So how do I feel about this? I feel betrayed is how I feel. I feel embarrassed on how fast we stabbed ourselves in the chest. I'm embarrassed by how fast and how eagerly we did it. You would think we're America. We're supposed to be land of the free, home of the brave, right? No. Land of the free. Yeah, that's right. I got it right, didn't I? Yes, right. It's what it's supposed to be, right? We weren't. We're landed a locked up, home and scared. I don't understand. We put ourselves in prison. It's terrible. All right. So yes. Anyway, yes. But you know, it is in New York City. I hear this all the time. It's all the cities. When it comes to New York State, some of you who aren't New Yorkers may not realize this. New York City obviously is a huge city in New York State. New York City is a huge city in New York State, the biggest one in the entire country. About 8.5 million people in the city. 1/3 of the people in the city aren't born in the country. Another third aren't born in New York City. Most people in New York City can't vote. You never get more than about 2 million votes out of New York City at the height. Usually it's a little more than 1 million. Not just New York City. Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, Utica, Ithaca. They're all voting blue too, man. It isn't just New York City. It's all the cities in New York. They all vote blue. So I know you want to blame New York City. I got you. We've got some blame, 100%. Guilty as charged on certain things. That one's not us. It's all the cities. So, all right. Yeah, even the essential businesses are down. Everything is down. It's really a problem. All right. If elected, Jim Gray will be the oldest president ever elected. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are statistically too old to be president. Is Jim Gray too old? Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are statistically too old to be president. I don't know what that means, Kurt. I don't understand the premise of the question. I'll just answer. Is Jim Gray too old? No, not at all. Jim Gray's actually said he would only do one term. Anyway, he's already said that. And he's doing it on purpose. He wants to change the country. So no, I would take a libertarian who was 35 or libertarian who was 105. I'm good. I want to change the country for the better. I want to open our eyes. I want to use this crisis right now is an opportunity to either do one or two things. Go back to the old ways. Go, I lean left, so I'm going to vote Democrat, or I lean right, so I vote Republican, and I put my dictator in charge. They take more power, don't help us out at all. They make stuff worse. They just put us into more debt. They just throw more money at the problem. They change nothing of any stature whatsoever, of any value whatsoever. That's what happened in 2009. Remember, the crash began under the second Bush and was then pulled through under Obama. And everybody said, all the leaders, oh, so happy that Bush saw the light and so wonderful that Obama was able to bring us through this. Oh, so awesome. Oh, so amazing. Bipartisanship. It's so hard. Oh, so amazing. And what did it change? Nothing. That's why we're here now. There was no real change in anything of stature at all. There were no infrastructure changes at all. That's why we're here now. We went from .com bubble to real estate bubble to debt bubble. That's what we did. So if you want to go back to one of those guys, vote Biden or Trump. You'll get exactly the same garbage again. And 10 years from now, as you've just dragged yourself out into a world that you can survive, there'll be another crash and they'll smack you back in the face again. So is Jim Gray too old? Not just no. Hell no. Hell no. 35 years old, 105 years old. Not the duopoly. You're old enough. All right. If a state can shut down any business declared to be non-essential, then it's unclear who owns that business. No, it isn't. It's crystal clear, Pete. Crystal clear. There's nope. Crystal clear. We know who owns that business. It's the government. You paying tax on that business? Yeah. It's not unclear at all. Yeah, it's completely clear. Oh, you said it is clear. Sorry, Pete. You were right. I'm sitting there talking and you're totally right. I apologize. Yes, you are correct yet again, Pete. You are totally correct. I misread it. You are correct. All right. Let me keep going if I could. All righty. Hold on. People talking about cars here? Okay, yeah, please. Pick up whatever you want. Okay. All right. So talking with an old Democrat friend today, I pointed out 25 years old and under car insurance is through the roof. Cost-wise, asked him how he felt about being pooled with the younger drivers to reduce their bills. He said, absolutely not. I then said, you support universal health care. Why is it fair for the youngsters to be pooled with you to reduce your health care premiums? He went silent. then we should be pointing out to Bernie supporters looking for a party. Well, the problem with that, John, which I agree with the concept, the problem is, then what's the answer, right? Because if I live in New York City. I know Democrats very well. Many of my friends, Democrats. The first thing they say is, because that's life and death, John. That's what they will say. Healthcare is a right, John. Driving isn't. That's what they will say. Their response is, healthcare is a right. Driving isn't. Life and death versus you want to drive your girlfriend around. That is their response. He just didn't know that yet. Now he does. You go back to him tomorrow. He talked to his Democrat friends. He has that already. He will tell you that. Ask him tomorrow. Call him up. Guaranteed. That's what he will say. No doubt he's going to say that. So I get it. But the issue is, and it's not fair at all, but it's still true. If we're libertarians or part of the liberty movement, we can't just show them that they're wrong. It isn't enough. We have to give them an answer. If we don't, they just fall back to their old ways. Remember, the old ways are deeply ingrained in them, John. You're right. And they will still go back to their old ways. I love what you did. You made them think differently. Awesome. Now we have to have an answer. Because now when he comes back to you and goes, life and death, John, that's why, which is what he or she is going to say, you'll be able to go, okay, well, how about if we did this instead? How if we tried something else instead? What if we did that? I think things would change. All right. Are Gray Sharpe the only moderate candidates, or do you believe there are other moderates in the presidential race? I'm not sure if I should be insulted or not. I'm not sure, Carl. Should I be insulted? I'm not sure. What I would say is, at the moment, I think the Gray Sharpe ticket, and again, I'm 100% biased. I'm on a ticket. I think the Gray Sharpe ticket has the best chance of making actual impact that people will notice. We'll get some very good CNN town halls. We'll get press because of who the judge is and what he's done in the past. We'll build a team. We'll get tons of volunteers. I think we will grow the biggest team. I think we'll raise the most money. I think we'll get the most press. That's what I believe that our ticket will do. If that makes us moderate, then okay, I guess I'll take that. I'm not sure if I should be insulted or not, but I'll take it either way. I do think that's going to happen. I think we'll get all three of those. But the most important piece, when it comes to the press part, just the press part, I do think Vermin Supreme can gain tons of press. I mean, he already has, right? That he's already proven this, right? I think that's absolutely true. My worry is, can he also raise the money, right, and build a team that a Gray Sharpe can build? I don't believe he can, but he can prove me wrong. And the other part is, what I want to be ready for, particularly with this right now, is I want to be ready for the lightning strike to where we actually win the election, right? Somebody wins the lottery. Sometimes it's a lightning strike and everything comes together and boom, you can win the lottery. I don't think any other campaign is ready to make that happen like we are. Now, others can prove me wrong, but I think we are the team and the people who are ready to, if it actually happens to where that lightning strikes and we can actually win this damn thing, that we can take off, that American people would vote for us, both of us, they'd vote for us, that the Congress would vote for us, and that we'd actually take the White House. So again, if that lightning strikes, I think we're the only team really ready to make that happen. Then the others actually aren't. So I hope at least that answered your question. I hope it did. So, NIT versus OBI. I think you mean UBI. I think, Clayton, you mean UBI. Wow, this is I've gone to UBI many times. And I'll talk about both of those two. If you want the Judge Jim Gray's negative income tax plan, the best way of doing it, he says it in his own words. You can just go to Judge Jim Gray, Larry Sharpe 2020 Facebook page. His video's right there. Click. In fact, you know what? I'll put it on my YouTube page. I'll move over to my YouTube page so you can just look at it. He explains in his own words how it works. Let me give you an overview of it. This is an overview in my own words. If you make less than, I believe he said $30,000, you would get a stipend, basically like a UBI, but only if you made less than $30,000. What that would do is that will remove all other forms of welfare, no other public assistance whatsoever, no food stamps, no disability, nothing. You just get that amount of money. You just get, I think it's $15,000 a year. I think that was the number he used. But again, he can give you details of that. I believe that's what it is, right? $15,000 a year 12, if it's $12.50 a month, here's your check, or whatever that amount is. I think that's the right amount. You just get that. For every dollar you make over a certain amount, you would lose 50 cents, but you still gain 50. So your goal is to make more money. If you start making more money, you can incentivize yourself and work your way off of the negative income tax. So eventually start paying tax on dollars after $30,000. You start paying tax on that. That's the basic overview of it. I'm being very generic. UBI is everybody gets a check every month, no matter what. You just take a check every month, no matter what, you get a check. That's the basic difference, right? One is in the UBI theory versus UBI as has been being practiced, and we're actually going to move towards UBI coming up here. I need to divvy that up too. Well, this is like you're the third person to ask. Let me go through three pieces: negative income tax, theoretical UBI, actual UBI, the way it's actually going to work. Negative income tax, people get a check if it's under a certain amount. I believe it's $30,000. Again, you can go to the Facebook page and watch it. Under 30K, they get a check every month. So they get it. All other forms of welfare, public assistance, erased. Bureaucracy, gone. No SSI, no disability, gone. You get a check. That's what you get, period. Enjoy. You make more. For every dollar you make more, you only 50 cents comes off your check. So it encourages you to make more money. That's what it does. It encourages you to make more money. That's negative income tax. UBI, how it's supposed to be in theory, is everyone gets a check that's large enough so you could survive, not thrive, survive in America, no matter who you are. Everybody gets it. You just get it, whatever, $3,000 a month or whatever that number is. That's what you get, period. You get that amount of money, done. $2,000 a month. That's all you get, period. Again, no more, no welfare, no food stamps, no subsidies, nothing. Everybody gets that. If you're wealthy, you still get it. If you want to give it away, you can. If you want to give it to your friend, you can. You want to use it, enjoy. You get it, period. That's the concept. The goal of both of those is supposed to be we now get rid of all other forms of public assistance. The bureaucracy goes away. We save tons of money. It gets people off. There's no who's better, who's worse. That's all you get. Done. That's the concept behind both of those. The way UBI is actually working right now, it's going to work and will keep working. It's what Yang wanted, which is everything stays in place. We save money on nothing. You still get all your goodies, everything. Nothing changes. Plus, here's $1,000. That's how UBI is actually working in America. The worst possible way it could work. The worst way of all the ideas of giving money out, we're going to have the worst one of all of them, which is, let's change nothing, keep the bureaucracy, keep everything else you have, and here's more money. The thought now, by the way, is not $1,000, $2,000. You probably heard this one, right? Yang was $1,000. The new one now is $2,000. So Yang, he's a chump now. Chumps won $1,000. I'm doing $2,000 and changing nothing. So Clayton, I hope that was helpful in kind of understanding the difference between those three. There's three different levels. We're going to wind up with the worst of all of them. So hope that was helpful. Yes, I think we should be buying from China and America. Anyway, Cato or Mises? Don't care. You pick. I didn't come here from academia. I came here from the business world. Fine. You pick. All right. IP laws are by design a state-granted monopoly that should be abolished anyway. See, there we go. He doesn't like IP anyway. See that? So, Brandon, we're going to dump up anyway. I love it. So have you thought of writing a book on your political, cultural perspective? Yes, I am actually in the process of writing very slowly 3 books. The first book should be on happiness. The second book will be on leadership. And the third book will be on government. I hope to have at least one out this year, one out next year, and one out the year after that. So I'm hoping to get 3 books out in that order because that's what I think is the most important. Happiness is number 1, which is why the first one will be on happiness. The second will be on leadership, which is the second most important thing. And the last one's on government, least important. So 3 in a row. Hope that was helpful. Let's see. Shopping local is so important. But this is my point, right? We have to make a change. We have to shift our thought process and say, we're okay with that, right? We're okay with paying some extra money to have a locally made product. And in certain cases we are, and certain people do it. It needs to be a bigger cultural piece in that we do that. You're completely correct. Yes. I hope I answered that question. I think it's, I think you're thinking negative income tax, I think. Yeah, exactly. Good. Explain why you support socialist UBI and vouchers. Manuel, what the fuck's your problem? Who said that? When did I ever say that? Explain why you didn't read my platform. Explain why you don't know who the hell I am. I never said that. I don't support either of those things. How about that? That should answer your question. All right. Articles of the giant meat processing plants are being thwarted by COVID everywhere. Does the Gray Sharpe campaign have thoughts or platform deregulating our food system? Yes, not deregulating, right? Remember, the goal isn't to deregulate. The goal is to take the teeth out of the regulatory bodies first. Here's the problem. People get angry when I say this. When you talk about deregulating, it scares people tremendously, right? Tremendously, it scares people. Deregulate, we're going to die. Oh my God. So instead, no, it's fine. The FDA or, it'll still exist. It's still there. Don't worry, it's still there. But now it no longer has teeth. It can't force. It simply does a stamp or not. We then encourage immediately for other organizations, right? Other organizations to have their own ideas of regulations, which not really regulations, standards. Standards better answer. Standards. So you have multiple standards, right? So each group will have multiple standards. When that begins to happen, now you as a consumer decide which standard you think is more valuable and more important. And now people can now purchase the products that they want. That's how you begin to deregulate. But you don't use the phrase deregulate. You actually just break the government monopoly, allowing each group to have their own standards. And the consumer decides, you know what? This standard matters. And if you care about the FDA and you think that's important for you, please do not buy any products that don't have that stamp. No worries. Up to you. If you don't care, buy what you want. We have an example of that already. I use it all the time. This is the health foods, natural food stores, right? They're all over the place. Many of them don't have FDA-approved products, and people choose to buy them or not. It's up to them. They can decide. Absolutely. So I'm a big fan of this, Mick. I like the idea of labeling American-made products. I like the concept of labeling them, right? Because then people know. Transparency is huge for me, right? You should know what you're buying and why you're buying it. And if you don't care, buy whatever you want. If you care, you buy what you care about. I love it. It's a great idea. Yes. Farmers markets are so important. I love that. So important. So important, farmers markets. It's healthier for you, better for you, nothing but good. Absolutely. So one of our local roads were taken care of from the shipping warehouse to the store, and it was paid for by taxpayers. One of our local roads were only taken care of. I'm not sure what you're saying, Shelley. I apologize. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about. All right. I went to Manila and they have roads leased to telecommunications. Yeah. I mean, I lived in the Philippines for about 30 days. I was on vacation there. I love the Philippines. One of the friendliest places in the world. And I was in Manila for some time. I was in Bulacan for a bit. So yeah, I spent some time on the island of Luzon. I think it's a good idea, right? It's a way of getting your services you want for people who are going to spend money anyway. Absolutely. So is South Korea Kim Jong-un alive? Well, I think you mean North Korea. I think you do. This, by the way, is a real problem. We may not realize this, but when dictators like this die so young and there's no obvious heir apparent, that's dangerous. It's dangerous because, without a question, if Kim Jong-un is dead or dying, whatever he's doing, there's a bunch of generals right now on the phone to China going, where do I deploy my troops? Who am I arresting? Who am I putting in prison? I was always loyal to you, right? I'm the good guy. What side am I on? There's a bunch of generals calling China right now, figuring out what the hell are they doing, where are they going. And then his sister, I've actually forgotten her name. His sister, though, she's trying to figure out, okay, am I in charge now? And this, by the way, as many of you know, is literally a royal godlike dynasty. So they also a very conservative country. So the idea of a woman being in charge, that's a big deal for them, right? And Kim Jong-un's kids, I think he has 2 or 3, they're babies. What's the best you can do? Maybe have the aunt be the regent? Maybe. This is like a feudal system, right? But here's the problem. When that happens, what's the next thing that happens? Heads get chopped off. That's what happened when Un took over, right? When Kim Jong-un took over, he killed his uncle, killed his stepbrother, got rid of purged some generals. The generals don't know that now. So they're thinking, what am I going to do? Why does it matter to us? They have nuclear weapons. If I'm some North Korean general and I didn't like the sister and the sister's ready to, put me in against the wall and put a bullet in my head, I might grab some of my troops and grab a couple of nukes and take my happy ass to some country who might want to save me. I might do that. Who knows? That's the problem right now. The North Korean situation is really a tough situation, and we should be concerned about it. We should be watching that. That's very dangerous. Who knows what happens there? If we were smart and savvy, if we were really savvy, and if we were close to them like we should be, if we wouldn't have shut them out, and we would have been talking to them like we should have. And this is the best thing that Trump did in East Asia, and he had some East Asian successes. The best one he had was talking to him. That was the best thing he could have done. I love that Trump actually did that. I know some of you people don't like Trump. You can be mad at me. But I'm just telling you the truth. This was a good thing. I'm glad he had the conversations. I wish he had done more. I wish he had opened up completely. That would have been a home run. If he would have opened up talks with North Korea 3-4 years ago, and we'd be talking to him, having conversations, trading a little bit, maybe having an embassy back and forth. Now those generals can run to us. And we can say, I got an idea. How do you like Malibu? Malibu's nice. How about you give us those nukes, tell your troops to stand down while the South Koreans walk across the border. We unite Korea. You hand those nukes over to us. You could be in Malibu. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. We could have been doing that right now. Now we can't. Now we're hoping the world doesn't end and don't blow each other up. So thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, it's a big problem. Yes, Ron, the idea of doing this works for lots of things, not just roads. It works for, as I talked the other day, the Bernie Bros. It works for homeless shelters. It works for tiny house complexes. It works for bridges and infrastructure. It works for light rail. All those things. Absolutely. Kevin says we can't just privatize. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to privatize, right? That's not what I want yet. America's not ready for that at all. This is a bridge too far. We have to show Americans that the government isn't the only answer. But not just that. If you privatize certain things, if you don't do it the right way, if you simply copy and paste, you're going to get a big problem. And Kathy's right. The private prisons, wow. Tough. Really tough. You'd have to change how private prisons are paid, right? If you wanted the private prison system to work better, there is a possibility where you can make it happen, right? And that will be, you wouldn't pay them for housing people. You'd pay them for rehabilitating. Well, Larry, how can you do that? It's not a crazy model. It already exists. No, everything I talk about already exists in some form. It's called the recruiting industry. Take a lot of people in, and the recruiters only get paid when they place somebody. They place somebody in a job, the recruiter gets paid. Why can't we do something similar to prisons? You take people in. You get them a job or get them a degree. We insert the thing that is good, whatever that thing is, right? Whether success is a job or a college degree or a license or a trade, whatever. We can pick what that is, right? But the prison system does that, gets paid. Well done. You might go, Larry, why is the government paying for that? Well, because now that guys are coming back in, we're saving money. Maybe the government doesn't pay for it. Maybe the company that gets the guy, they pay for it. Fine. You pick. I'm fine either way. All I want is if we're going to do private prisons, there has to be a different way that we say they're right. A different way that we say they're successful. That's the issue you have to worry about. So, yes, property tax, you will lose your home. I agree. Yes, absolutely. So they just print money. Yes, We just print money. 100%. 100%. Yes. All right. So let me keep doing this. Cops already hiring. Sadly, Brian, too many of them are. I wish you were wrong. I wish you were wrong. My father was in law enforcement. I'm not anti-cop, but I am anti-highwaymen. Yes, I am. I am totally against it. It drives me crazy. I can't stand it. It's a bad thing, and yeah. So yes, yeah, yes, yeah. Perfect, Joe. This is it. Don't use force to make anyone carry a gun, and don't use force to take somebody's gun. How about note the most important piece Joe's talking about? Don't use force. I am in, Joe. Me and you, brother. Exactly right. Don't use force. If you want to carry, carry. If you don't. This goes back to another piece that a lot of people have trouble with. Understanding. I hear people all the time say, people want to be free. Let's give them freedom. Don't people want liberty? Let's just have a message of liberty and freedom. Do you not look at the world we're in? Do you not understand the world that you live in? There's a whole lot of people out there who don't want to be free. A whole lot who don't want to be free. And for us to keep yelling, it's about freedom and liberty. They don't care. They don't want to be free. So they're not going to vote for us. They're not going to support us. They don't want to be free. So we can't just go be free. The difference is we let them understand that, great, you don't want to be free, no worries. Just don't stop me from being free. There is the biggest issue. I dealt with this in New York State. There were a lot of people in upstate New York who are pro 2A, and a lot of people in the city and in downstate New York who are completely anti-2A, totally anti-2A. People upstate will go, they got to understand how good the Second Amendment is. They got to understand, how they should be carrying guns. I'm like, no, they don't. That's not going to happen. All they need to do is go, whatevs, okay, you carry the gun you want to carry. I'm not going to. That's good enough. I don't need you to love what I do. I don't need you to do what I do. I just need you to not stop me. That's it. In fact, you can even tell me I'm crazy or dumb or you shouldn't own a gun. You're crazy. Fine. You can say that. Just don't stop me from owning one. You can say you don't like what I'm doing. Fine. Tell me I'm dumb. I shouldn't do it. Fine. You have a freedom of speech. Say what you want. You just can't stop me from doing it. That force piece, Joe, you got me on a rant. Your fault. I'm blaming you, Joe. All right. Be you, libertarian in a nutshell. Yes, be you. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. All right. But Larry, taxation is that. I hear that all the time. I hear it all the time. And here's my issue with this. The issue I have with the taxation and theft piece is the vast majority of Americans still to this day believe that taxation is the only way to a civilized civilization. They can't imagine anything else. Think about it. Every time there's a problem, every time, this was a perfect example of that. At what point was anyone saying, how do we grow our economy? How do we get the private sector to help? No, it was always like, where's the money coming from? Who's going to give the money? How's the government going to pay for this? That's it. That was the only thing. That was what was talked about. We have a lot of work to do. Because here's something to remember. If a person says, you can take my money, taxation is fine, I accept it, that's what I want for my civilization. If the person says that, that's consent. That's not theft. It's only theft when people realize they shouldn't consent. We have a lot of work to do before that is actually true. A lot of work. Part of it's this. So guess what? I'm going to bug you right now. Share, like, comment, so people will understand that taxation is theft. They'll understand that. If we like, we comment, and we share, let people know this is happening. How do I feel about closing down U.S. bases on military foreign assault? Absolutely yes. 100% yes. We have to do that. Yes. Got to do it. There is a minor issue to remember, though. People want to crush the military-industrial complex. So do I. 100%. So do I. There's a very important issue that, again, the average person doesn't get. Why does the military-industrial complex, why is it so popular? Why is it so big? Here's the reason. It's a massive jobs program. Now, I know hardcore libertarians got mad at me. Larry, the government doesn't create jobs. Yeah, it does. I don't know what planet you live on. I don't know what society you live in. 1 in 7 Americans works for the government. And that check they get from the government pays their bills. Pays their bills. Something like 60 million Americans are somehow getting a check from the government, either by disability or public assistance, Social Security. Yeah, that pays bills. Yeah, that pays bills. So to think that the government doesn't create jobs, you're just fooling yourself. That's rhetoric. That means nothing. So if you just start closing the military industrial complex down, what are you going to do? Put a whole bunch of Americans out of work right away. Should we? Yes, just not right away. It is a phased withdrawal. Immediately, day one, here's the plan to have it all shut down in 4 years. All of it gone in 4 years. But that's 4 years. That gives now our troops time to get to not re-enlist and to find jobs, right? I know there are certain people, you will hear them tell you, bring them all home, discharge them. What a horrible idea that is. Ask the Vietnam vets. Ask the World War I vets, particularly those of color. What happened in 1918, 1919, when they came home and they were fighting for jobs. It was the height of racism in America when the black soldiers came home wanting white jobs. That did not go well at all. Lynching, fighting in the streets, did not go well. How about the Vietnam? How'd that go well when you had guys who were fighting in Vietnam and then literally within 30 days, they were on the streets of LA? How'd that go? Horrible idea. So yes, 100% phased down to nothing. I want them all gone, every single one of them. But I also don't want to punish my veterans. I don't want to punish veteran families. I also don't want to punish all the workers all the Americans who work, right? Let's let them know it's happening. Absolutely. Yes. So Brandon, already on a ballot in 37 states. Easy day. Look how good we are. I love this. Okay. Best guess. Do you think Joe Biden will win the ticket as the Democratic nominee for president in November? I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know. I don't think it's that easy, right? Right now, it looks like yes, but sadly, my governor, I hate to say this. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm just being truthful. Excuse me. My governor is more popular than he is. He's getting more press than Joe Biden is, right? Cuomo's getting more press. If I were the Democrats, I'm not a Democrat. If I was a Democrat, Joe needs to get sick real fast. And then Cuomo needs to, save the day. Because Cuomo hates Trump. Cuomo's been yelling about Trump forever. And Democrats love anyone who hates Trump. This is perfect. This is Democrat red meat. They just love anyone who hates Trump. Cuomo hates Trump. Oh my God, does he hate Trump? So awesome. Put Cuomo in and go, rah, 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 hate Trump. And boom, the Democrats are motivated. So if I was Democrat, Biden gets sick. Sorry. That's just me. So in any case, yes. And Brent, thank you. We did sue in Illinois and gotten about. I think suing is going to work. I absolutely was going to work. It's the best chance of us getting forward. Ryan, I see your 4 vomit emojis, and I couldn't agree more. Sharpe 2024, maybe. We will see. Absolutely, we'll see. Maybe. Yes. How can we fix Social Security? It's facing insolvency in the near future. Holmberger said he will get rid of it immediately. I know. This is my point. I know a lot of people who are like, abolish, abolish, abolish. Let me add some. You guys may remember this. It was relatively popular. During I think it was the Obama years, there were protests about Obamacare. Of course, Obama years, duh. There were protests about Obamacare, right? And there were people who literally had signs that said, get your government hands off my Medicare. Yeah. This goes back to what the American people think. The average American thinks they believe that Social Security is like their fund. They believe that they paid into it. There's a little bank account with their name on it. And I put into it. So now I get my money back. Now, we all know that's not true. But truth doesn't actually matter in this case. What matters is what they believe. And a lot of people believe that they put their money in their account, so they're going to get it back. So now you're going to say, it's gone? So you think the literally tens of millions of seniors who are somehow getting Social Security are going to be like, yeah, I'll vote for that. And you think the people who are 50 and 40 who vote all the time are going to vote, yeah, I'll vote to not get my money back. Thanks for stealing from me. I'll vote for that. Again, I don't know what country you live in. I don't know where you are. That's literally impossible. That's never going to happen. So how do we fix it? I tell you how we fix it. We create, like anything else, you got to get off of the pension plans. The Social Security is another pension plan, right? How do you do that? You negotiate off, and it takes time. And Social Security is probably a 10 or 15-year plan. That's a guess. I don't know what your name is. I'm going to call you RB. I'm guessing as 10 or 15-year plan on how you begin to wean off, to give certain people certain amounts of money, to get them off and to lower and to make it to where now it's even. That is a long discussion. It's what I talked about in New York State, getting off our pensions in New York State. New York State has a similar problem, right? It's insolvent. We can't pay our pensions. It's not going to happen. I talked about negotiating, and I said it would take 4 years in New York State to negotiate the pensions down. That was a guess that my team and I came up with. We looked at all the unions we have to negotiate with, all the people. We have 6 tiers, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in New York State that we have to negotiate with. It's massive negotiations. Some people are going to lose some money, but it's lose some money or get nothing. That is the alternative. All gone, get nothing, or slowly lose while part goes into investment so you'll be able to keep some kind of money going on. That would eventually be out of the government completely. There'd be no Social Security. It would all eventually be in some form of either banking or market. So my guess, RB, is that is about a 15-year negotiation. That's a guess, but it's a long-term negotiation, and then it's a gradual withdrawal. I know people go, gradual, it's horrible. Let me be very clear about something, and many don't like this, but I need to be forward. Incremental, gradual change is the only thing that works. Not sometimes. Every single time. No exception. Well, I'm sorry. There's one exception. There's one exception which I am so against, I didn't even bring it up. But there is one exception. Violence. Violence fixes things quickly like that, right? I'm not ready to use violence. So when you remove violence, that's how it works, right? This is, you put it in the market. The market, you guys talk about Mises and Cato. Okay, great. It's about the market. Going into the market. You can't just put a product in the market that's better than the last thing, that's so different no one understands it. It just doesn't work. You fail constantly, every single time. The goal in a perfect world in the market, which everyone shoots for and very few people get, is to have something that's radical enough to be exciting and different and new and better, but similar enough to what's already existing that people understand it and want to make the change. People often fail, right? It goes too far one way, too far the other way. Apple has had some home runs and a couple failures, right? But they've had some home runs. It went just the way enough, and boom, people jumped on it. Politics is no different. People are people. We've got to have the policies that are radical enough to make actual change, radical enough to excite them, but close enough to what they know so that people go, okay, I can take that. Think about Medicaid for all. Medicare for all is a terrible idea, right? What are we actually saying? Destroy all insurance companies and ensure that you have no recourse whatsoever for your medical care. That's what we're actually saying. If you said that, everybody would say, no, I'm not doing that. Instead, they go, Medicare. I understand what that is. For all. Oh, radical concept. That's the type of thing we have to come up with, ideas and concepts to move people. I hope that was clear. I went a bit long on that, but I hope that was clear. All right. Some people say that the only reason they don't vote libertarian is because we're not in a balance with the states. I don't think that's true, Shelley. I know people say that. I don't think it's true. Most people have no idea if we're in the ballot in all 50 states or not. Most have no idea. So, I've gone through this before. How was he handling the pandemic? There is no good. He has done nothing good. He's taken no responsibility for all the errors that he's already done before this even happened. He's taken no responsibility for repairing anything. He's blamed everybody but himself. He has not changed anything. He had end rules. He ended them all too late. He stepped up too late, and now he's spending all of his time sitting in front of cameras instead of actually fixing things. Bad, bad, and bad. He's an embarrassment. But sadly, he's still popular. He's still popular. So, yes. All right. Let's see. See if I can find some more here. I apologize. Would you support fourth generation nuclear energy in some capacity? Yes, yes, and yes, Carl. I'm a big fan of nuclear energy, and a lot of people aren't. I get it. I'm a big fan of nuclear energy. I think it is a great, quick fix that makes sense. I know in theory it's not quick, but it actually is if we get rid of government regulation that's stopping it. And if we allow people to actually build it out, Is it a perfect answer? It is not. But can we quickly reduce our emissions while giving people power, while allowing electric cars to actually be cleaner? With new generation nuclear energy, you actually use expended fuel rods as fuel. You're using waste as fuel. How good is that? Come on, it's amazing. And new technology, there's absolutely no way for these nuclear power plants to melt down. So meltdown is impossible, and you're able to use waste as fuel. Nothing but a call. I'm in. I want to build 3 of them in the North Country of New York State. If I'm governor, we're building 3 of them in New York State. We're going to start it, get it built, let the federal government sue us. While they're suing us, we'll keep building. So after we win, they'll be built. So we'll build while they sue us. We'll just do it. That's what I want to do when I'm governor. And if they want to stop us, I guess we'll have a firefight over nuclear power. That'd be good. It's a good TV show, right? Yeah. Tara, I hope I'm kidding. I don't want anybody to die over nuclear power. So yes, but poverty does kill more than any virus. Absolutely. Yes. Larry, food shortages. We need to chill. We can grow gardens and barter everything. Americans are resourceful. With the other, we can make it. I live in Queens, dude. Where am I going to grow my food? What are you talking about? I live in Queens. I mean, there's a farm in Queens. There's like 1 farm in Queens. It's like, well, I'm exaggerating, but my point is there's 2.2 million of us just in Queens. There's nowhere near enough for us to locally do it. We're going to have to get people to drive from someplace else. I mean, everyone knows this. The country feeds the cities, right? I mean, the country feeds the cities. That's how it works. So, yeah, there will be food shortages and it will be higher pricing and people aren't going to barter. It's easier to barter in a non-city area because you know your neighbors, you've known them for a while. Many places in the city where you don't know who your neighbor is. You have no idea who they are. You go to the city, and you go to Manhattan to work, you come back home to your neighborhood. You know the person. You rent, not your home. You have no idea. Why would you barter with someone like that? Really hard. Could be done, sure, but it's a problem. So yes, and yes, totally created. This was a self-inflicted wound in every way, shape, and form. I'm embarrassed on how bad we did this. So, all right, Mary, I'm sorry. I'm going to be behind with about auditing the Fed. Yes, I'm sorry. I keep rocking and rolling. I'll try to catch up on everyone. Yes, I do want us to audit it. Audit is the answer, Mary Jane. If we begin with the audit, Mary Jane, if we begin with the audit, then from that, we then move to, by default, ending it. And that will happen. And that's what I really want us to happen. I think we can do that. Absolutely. So the presidential election has 2 possible choices: a mid-70-year-old politician who has taken an oath to protect the independent Constitution and have failed on multiple levels, or whoever libertarian delegates choose. How can we get people to realize that the R&D candidates are identical except in rhetoric? Candidates, a great question, right? I hope that we actually can. It will be challenging. What I think is going to happen is, again, we're going to get a couple of CNN debates. CNN town halls. They won't put us on the debate stage with them. Town halls. If we're exciting, if we're interesting, if people watch, if they're done in New York, and I can bring my team to show up in the audience, we'll be very excited, very interesting. People want to watch it, and that's how. Then they'll hear our views. The thing to remember is when it comes to anything like that, debates, town halls, it's all about ad revenue. That's the critical aspect. And if people see that you are drawing eyeballs, people want to watch you, they'll put you on again and again and again. I like that. Everyone should make posts saying the Federal Reserve is a private bank that prints money. That's actually not bad, Joe. I like that. That's not bad. But I'd add one more thing to that. I'd say the Federal Reserve is a private bank that prints money. Period. Next statement. Google it. That's what I would do. I would challenge the person to Google it. That would be it. Yes. Audit the Fed t-shirts. Ryan. Brilliant. All right. That's next. So stealing an idea. I am. Absolutely. In fact, Ryan, if you want to design one, you can sign it. Not too shabby. All right. So, yes. Monica, I purchased I meat from local farmers. I love that, Crystal. I wish most of us did, right? I wish most of us did. When the crisis is over and milk costs $12 a gallon, oh my God, the Fed can be slowly put to death. I wish that wasn't true, William. I do. I know you're kind of teasing, but you're kind of not, and I get it, right? It's sad that it will take that type of reaction before we'll do it. We are humans. We are creatures of habit. What we're told, look, to be forward, I think of how I came to this, right? And many of you know this. You see the picture behind me? You see the picture behind me? Right? This is me in the Marine Corps. I was 18, 19, maybe 18, 19 here. I was one of those guys who wore the shirt that said, kill them all, let God sort them out. I was that guy. I was, if they had said, this is the 80s, so if they had said, go into Poland and kill Soviets or whatever, I would have done it. I wouldn't have thought twice. I would have thought that it's my country, right or wrong. I'm killing for my country. I'm saving America. I'm defending America. I believed it. I believed it 100%. And I mean 100%. I'm very lucky in that I was never in combat. I was enduring 2 combat engagements, but my unit did not see any combat. And I was very lucky that I didn't have to do that. But here's what I know would have happened. I would have gone into combat. I would have ordered men to their death. I would have gone to my death. And I wouldn't have thought anything about it. I would have done it. I changed. And there were things in my life that made me change. That I'm not that guy anymore. I wouldn't do that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. Sadly, for many people, it's going to take $12 milk or something like that, something like this, to make them go, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my preconceived narratives aren't real. Maybe I'm wrong. And that doesn't feel good. And I often say that. I tease a little bit, but when I talk to my wife about these things, I sometimes say, I wish I was 18 in the Marine Corps again, because life was simple. Everything was black and white. I was right. They were wrong. I was good. They were evil. Life was easy. It wasn't real. It was a fantasy world I was living in, but it was easy. It was simple. I think a lot of people if they don't have to think about this, they like their worlds to be black and white, good and evil, and it's easy. I think it takes something like $12 a gallon to where someone goes, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, William, I went a little bit deep there. I apologize. But yeah, I'll blame you. Your fault. So yes, good. All right. When you win the election, who do you see as the most important advisors? It's a great question, Shelley, right? The reality of it is, and one of the reasons why I ran in New York, which is a large team, and built a large team, was so I'd have more libertarian advisors, libertarian people who know stuff, libertarian people who do things. In reality, probably most of the teammates that we have, many of them will be former Democrats, Republicans. That's the odds. But I'll need to have leaders that are going to be libertarians, right? That can lead them, that can set the tone of what's going to happen, right? And I think I found that when I ran my campaign in 2018, I had people who would come from the left and the right, but I had to set the tone of what we're talking about. We do policy calls, and they'd be like, well, we can start doing with tax breaks. Okay, you came from the right. So like start changing how that works and shifting and moving. So I do some of those things. I think the issue is, as long as we have libertarians at the top, I think we'll be fine. Odds are we'll have Democrats, Republicans in between, just because there aren't enough libertarians who do this kind of thing, which is one of the reasons why you see me keep doing this, to gain more people on track, right? The advantage that we have is, in my view, Judge Jim Gray, if he wins, he's going to have people flocking to him who are liberty-leaning for decades, who wanted to call themselves libertarians for decades. So at least we'll have a lot of those people in the fray. That I like. A lot of them will be there. That's why I was talking about this earlier, right? The reason why I'm excited about the Gray Sharpe ticket is because I believe that if lightning strikes and we have an opportunity to win, there's enough people, if they see that opening, who will come out and go, vote for Judge Jim Gray. I know him from the 90s. I know him from 2000s. I know him. Vote for him. Do this. Make this happen. And when he wins, we have enough people behind him to actually govern. So I think the issue is we will have a lot of Democrats and Republicans who will be part of our world just because there are so few of us. But as long as we're leading with libertarians, I think we'll be fine. I hope I answered your questions. Yeah, I know. Let's not even talk about vape deaths. And flu deaths are tiny now. It was like 700 or something. Use it as like 40,000. Now there's like 700 or something like that. So, yes. All right, let me move through if I could. Do you think that Bernie supporters will rise up and demand Biden address the allegations against him? No. I think Bernie supporters are going to do one of two things. I think they're going to follow what they did last time. The Bernie supporters didn't do much at all against Hillary. I mean, openly, right? They didn't go, Hillary, you suck, or your emails, or you're corrupt. They didn't do much of that at all. They did one of three things. A chunk of them, about a third, I'm going to say a third, just for sake of argument. A third said, you know what? Fine. I like Bernie. I hate Trump. I'll vote for you anyway. And they held their nose and they voted for Hillary. And a third said, I'm out. I'm not voting. I'm done. You guys suck. I'm staying home. And a third said, I want a rebel. Bernie won't give me a rebel. Trump's a rebel. I'm going to him. And they voted Trump. So they broke up into those three as a general rule. I think a similar thing happens this time, except less go to Trump. Because Trump was much more of an unknown last time. This time is much more of a known. So I think a smaller percentage will go to Trump. There's some still will, right? Some still want a rebel, and Bernie was the equivalent of a Democratic rebel, right? Some still want a rebel. So some will go to Trump, but I think a smaller percentage will go to Trump. A chunk will hold their nose and go to Biden, and they won't want to say, address your allegations because that'll increase the odds he loses. So they're going to keep their mouth shut. Be quiet. I know he does crazy stuff. Shh. All that matters is Orange Man bad. It's all that matters. Got to get rid of him. So that's all that matters. So they'll say nothing. And I think a chunk are looking for a third party. Well, Brandon, we happen to have one right here, don't we? If you've noticed, the last couple of weeks, I've done a show every single week on how Bernie supporters can get what they want without socialism. I've done a show on both of those things. So I'm hoping they come our way. Yes. Someone on Larry Sharpe may make this post so we can, well, we should work on that. I will. I have my team working on it. I love that. Yes. And 50% of New York voters stayed home in 2018. Yes, they stayed home. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. All right. The media is not reporting on Biden allegations. I think there's a couple reasons why that's happening. Harvey, I think the number one reason is they don't care. They don't think it's gonna matter. I'm not joking. They think it's not gonna matter. And I think partially in this case, the media is probably right. I think it's probably right. The people who really hate Trump, it's the same when Trump has allegations, right? He's sleeping with a porn star, grabbing women by the private areas. Most Republicans were like, I don't care. They were wearing shirts saying, grab my, right? They were doing that. They were wearing shirts saying that. Republicans didn't care. I don't think Democrats care either. They're like, I don't care. As far as most Republicans in 2016, they thought, he's not Hillary, good enough. And I think most Democrats think, he's not Trump, good enough. I don't think they think it's going to be a sexy story. I think they're right. Kavanaugh was more sexy for one important reason. Kavanaugh, what was all that was going on. Right now, the COVID virus is going on. Far more sexy for media than Biden grabs somebody. Far more sexy. I'm not saying that this is just or morally correct. I'm going to be clear. I'm not saying that. But the media's job is not to do that. The media's job is to be seen. That's what they do. They want to be seen. If you're watching them, they make ad revenue and they fund themselves. All they care about is being seen. The concept of the media being anything other than that has been gone for, decades. That's all the media does. Its job is only to be seen, nothing else. And the coronavirus is far sexier than Biden groping somebody. I know it sounds horrible. I'm telling you what I think is real. Yes. All right. Bernie supporters need to realize that Americans pay for themselves. We don't need stolen taxes. We got to work on that. And again, if you watched my shows, I hope you guys do, on Wednesday and Thursday, I was talking about exactly that, right? We can get what we want without having to use massive taxation. We just don't. So, home of the land the imprisoned, home of the enslaved. Ouch, Matt. I wish you weren't right. Yeah, I wish you weren't right. Sadly, I think you are. But I really wish you weren't right. So, all right. Let's see. What is the libertarian solution to climate change? And how do we market it to people who don't trust the free market? All right. First off, you never use the phrase free market. You don't hear me use that phrase. That's the reason why. But second, again, I dealt literally about 20 minutes or so on this specific piece of the environment. And I think I did that. Yeah, I called it the green. Yes, it was the answer to the Green New Deal. It's the first piece of my Bernie show 2 weeks ago. If you go back 2 Wednesdays, check it on the either YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, you will see I talk about Bernie bros, and I put in that thing, Green New Deal. I cover exactly how we fix climate change without raising taxes. Absolutely, without raising taxes. We can do it. It's how we create an environment to where the private sector does the right thing. That's how we do it. Good. How do we get the majority of Americans to know the Libertarian Party and see the best, that we're best within American ideals? It is by being more popular. It's by doing more of this. So let me use my time right now. Like, share, comment. Let people know we're doing this. Let's make things grow our own media so that people can see it. The more you're like, sharing, and comment, the more you're talking about it. That's how we do it. Being more popular matters. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Imagine if Kim Kardashian was running for president. Everybody be covering her. Why? Because she's popular. That's the reason. We wouldn't even know her policies. I assume she'd be good with criminal justice. Would be my assumption that that's one of her issues. But whatever it would be, her issue would be her issues. People would follow her because she's popular. Being popular matters. All right. Let's see. Why didn't you pick John McAfee as a running mate? Well, look, it's remember, I was asked to be a running mate. And I went with someone who I trusted, who I believe in, and who I think will get us the impact that we need. I love John. I had him on my show. He's a great guy. Super smart. Spent at least half the show insulting me. It's fine. I didn't mind anyway. It's fine. I get insulted all the time. He's been about half the show insulting me. But no, I didn't pick him because I don't think he's physically, he can't come to the country. So how in the world is he going to make the impact that I'd like him to make? He can't come to the country. So if he could come to the country, I would have considered it. Absolutely. So I hope that was clear. All right. Why not just 10,000 a week? Yeah. Great point. I'm not a fan. Most of you, I mean, if you guys have seen me, I'm not a fan of UBI. I'm not. I've spoken out against it multiple times. I spoke out against UBI in 2018, 2019. This year, I did a whole segment on how I think UBI is a bad idea. I'm not a fan at all, but we're going to get it. If you think we're not getting UBI, you're not paying attention. We're getting it. And it's going to be the worst type. It's going to be everybody gets $2,000 a month, and it's never going to go away, and we're never going to fix anything, and we're never going to get rid of any bureaucracy, and we're still going to be fighting for every other piece of public assistance on top of it. That's what's going to happen. So why not $10,000 a week? One day, Brandon. Why not? Let's just keep cranking the dollars out. When milk is $12 a gallon, it's going to have to be $10,000 a week. I wish it wasn't true. The worry I have is, at one point, default is the answer. Default is the only answer. So your point's a valid one. I wish I had something to say. Yes. All right. Let me keep going if I grab some more. What do you think of Joshua Smith's idea about building multimedia teams to increase LP's visibility on social media? Yes. No. I love the idea, right? I think social media is everything. We haven't been very aggressive on this. And one of the reasons why, to be forward with those of you who know the LP, we have a huge problem in the LP. And the biggest problem is money. It literally is that simple. You may or may not know this, but if you're the chair of the DNC or the RNC, you get a 6-figure salary. That's your job. You live and pay your bills as the DNC or RNC chair. That is a paid full-time position. 6 figures. That's what that is. Libertarian Party chair of the LNC, it is a part-time volunteer job. Huge difference. Huge difference. The budget that we have in the Libertarian Party is what? 2% of what the budget of the larger parties have? I mean, some small amount. Maybe it's less than that. And it's not high. It's low. So we need to rely on a lot of people who will volunteer their time, energy, and money. and it's challenging. Bryce, I'm not saying you're wrong at all in what you want. I think it's a good idea. I want Josh to do it. I hope everybody does it. But it's challenging. It isn't as easy as it may sound. Then the problem is money. If we were able to generate $40 million a year, $500 million a year, that'd already be happening. We'd already have all our own TV. We'd have a libertarian TV station done already be there. So I think it's a wonderful idea. I hope he can do it. I hope it works. I hope it's amazing. The issue is money. So the USDA is as crooked as the CDC. Shelley, yeah, because it's a monopoly, right? When is monopoly good? Right? What's the punishment when a monopoly fails? More money. Do it right next time. I'm not joking. Right? That's the punishment. You monopoly, you screwed up. Okay, we did. Great. Here's more money. Do it right next time. Damn it. You screwed up again? Here's even more money. Do it right this time. What's wrong with you? Yes, absolutely. So that's really, you're totally right. It's a horrible problem. Absolutely. All right. Transparency is the foundation of community. Absolutely. Yes. We should be more and more and more transparent in everything we're doing. Everything we're doing, we should be more transparent. It is a serious issue. How do you feel about the plight of farmers in this pandemic? Namely, having to dump so much of their product while mega farmers need to draw from agricultural subsidies, whether they produce a product or not. Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that. It's so obvious, right? Why are we getting subsidies? Why are we, particularly in the dairy farm, why are dairy farmers still price takers and not price makers? Why is the government involved in any of this? Why can't they just sell what they want to sell, how they want to sell it? Why did the government shut them down? Bad. Look, one of the things to remember, this entire crisis, what's going to happen, and the reason why they wasted so much time before they moved was because once they saw the crisis was happening, they had to give the elites and the powerful their time to become liquid so they can buy up all the assets of the working poor and middle class when the crisis hits hard. This way they can shift the wealth more towards the wealthy and towards and away from the poor. Now, if you see the wealth gap, what every Republican will tell you is it's because of democratic redistribution of wealth. Not true. What Democrats will tell you is because Republicans are evil and giving tax breaks for the rich. Also not true. The reason why it's happening, they both agree it's happening because it is happening. The wealth gap is getting bigger. The reason it's happening is every 10 years is a crash and the wealthy see it first. They become liquid and they buy up all the assets of everybody else who has to pay their bills to sell their assets. It's literally that simple. The Fed creates the bubbles so the wealthy can be richer. Doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican, wealth redistribution or tax breaks for the rich. That's that much. That's the biggest piece. So one of the reasons why it was so slow is because of that. That means farmers too. What's going to happen to all those farmers? They're going to lose all their farms, having to sell their assets to pay their bills. Who's going to buy those farms? Oh, the big farm. Yes. Big agribusiness. That's how that works. Mega farms will get bigger. Smaller farms will go away. So you're right. But that's what's happening. If we don't end this cycle, it's going to keep happening. Absolutely. So yes, that was my point, Joe. If we actually had gone further, Trump didn't go far enough. I'm very happy Trump opened this up. He did not go far enough. If he had gone further and actually opened up Korea completely, we would have a chance right now, at this moment, a chance for unification. We've lost that chance. I don't think it's going to happen. Look, I hope it happens. I just don't think it's going to right now. I think we've lost it. I think we really should have been much more aggressive here. So regulate marijuana like onions. Yes, absolutely. Now, why do I say that? People tease me about that all the time. And the first thing I get from the libertarians is, why even regulate like onions? It's the first thing I always get. Here's why I said that. If you say deregulate cannabis or deregulate or decriminalize or whatever, again, whenever the average American hears deregulate, what do they think? Oh my God, the world's ending and we're all going to die. They're deregulating. I just said regulate it like stuff that you don't regulate. Regulate it like that. Regulate it like the stuff you don't regulate much. Now, what do people hear? Oh, regulate. So now I feel safe. And then the people who make it go, there's like no regulation. Yeah, let's do that. So that goes back to my same issue of it's radical enough to have impact, but understandable enough so the average person goes, oh, okay, I'm in. That's why I regulate like onions so much. By the way, I did that when I was in Western New York, because in Western New York, we grow onions. So we grow onions. Absolutely. So that's why I said onions. I was in Western New York when I came up with that. I found that there's actually, compared to most vegetables, there's actually some decent regulations on onions. So maybe carrots is better. But anyway, fine. Look, I'll take onions. It's fine. I'll take onions. Whatever that is, we'll take onions. It's fine. So anyway, that was so thank you for that, Eric. I appreciate that. Yes. Will Judge Gray issue one-day pardon for Ulbricht? Yeah, I actually don't know. I haven't asked the judge that. I probably should. It's a good question. I'm 100% in support of all those guys. Note, if you look behind me, you will see a picture literally of Eric Snowden, one of my heroes, right there. So if it's up to me, I will advise him. That's what I promise you, Brandon. I will advise the judge to pardon Ross and Edward, bunch of others, lots of people. But I don't know. I don't know if he's mentioned that. I probably should check that. I'll ask him. I'll be speaking to him soon. I will ask him, but I actually don't know the question, the answer to that question. But I'm totally, I'm saying yes. Me. Jesse Ventura, he better jump in. If anybody's going to jump into the fray, they better jump in soon, right? I jumped in late. People mad at me. Jesse jumps in. So anyway, I already jumped in late. We got to be really really fast. So yes, all right. Cuomo will run for president. He promised the voters in New York, if elected, he would serve as full term. That's so funny, Jim. You're funny. Cuomo said something, and he would never lie. I mean, Cuomo said he would never shut down New York City, and then he did. And he said it's just not prepared to do multi-state, and then he did. And I'm sure he's going to say he said he has tons of money, so always going to pay unemployment, and now he's not. So I'm sure he said he's not going to run for president, and then he will. So I trust nothing Cuomo says. Nothing. If Cuomo said the sky is blue, I would assume the sky has changed and now is green. I would assume it not to be true anymore. So yeah, nothing he says, do I believe, is true. Yes. In Cuomo's defense, he can form complete thoughts. True. William, yes. Let's give a man credit where credit is due. Cuomo absolutely can form complete selfish thoughts all about himself with no idea of what he's, what punishment that he is wreaking, what damage he is putting upon his state. But yes, he absolutely can do that. I love that. Larry's my spirit libertarian. Yes. I love that. Very good. All righty. See if I can grab a couple more. Gradual is realistic. Tina, thank you. Gradual is realistic, but here's the reality of it. Here's how things actually work. There's no saying in business, and I tell you guys often, I come from the business side. So now many of you hit me with philosophical issues. I know you do often with philosophical issues, and I don't always give you the right answer or the right person because I didn't come from the philosophical side or the economic side. I came from the business side. We have a saying in business, and that is, it took her 10 years to become an overnight success, right? It took him 10 years to become an overnight success because you work, and finally it tips. Literally, there's a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a business book, but also a philosophical book. It talks about how in life, that's how it always works. You keep working, and all of a sudden, boom, you shoot up, or boom, you fall off the cliff. Either one. There's a tipping point where things shoot up into the air and things change. And that's what I think we have to do, Tina. We have to keep gradually building up until people go, oh, freedom, of course. Yes. Oh, why did you say freedom? I didn't think you were talking about freedom now. She would have said freedom would have done this a long time ago, right? That's what has to happen. And I think over time it will. I hope in my lifetime. I hope next week. But in reality, it takes more and more and more of this. I think about it like a scale, right? And remember the old scales where you have a marble on each side or something and you kind of measure what something is? We just keep putting a marble on that scale. Just keep, until all of a sudden, keep putting the marbles on. That's where I am. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. All right. Slow change is how we got here. It took 100 years to mess this shit up. Yeah. I hope not decades, William. I hope not. I really hope it is not decades. It could be, though. It could be. I was forced into Social Security. I had my money taken and given back what I paid in with interest. Good for you, Arthur. I love that. I'm happy you got that. I'm not mad at people. And this is another libertarian thing. Sometimes people get upset. Why are you taking Social Security? Why are you using the roads? Why are you whatever? Well, because you paid for it. Why wouldn't you do it? I had one guy get mad and go, so Larry, you're a real libertarian. If you win the government, you're going to donate your salary? You're going to pay my bills? No. Then what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why would you ask a question like that? What about now? Are you going to give back Trump bucks, 1212 bucks? Why would you pay your bills? What's wrong with you? Pay your bills. Not get me wrong. If you are wealthy or in a good financial situation to where you can donate your 1200 bucks, please do that. It's amazing. There are tons of local charities who would love to have that money. If that's where you are and you can do that and you want to protest, please, your money. I would love you to donate that money to someone local so that you can help some people out. That'd be amazing. I don't expect that of you. I expect you to survive and pay your bills. That's what I expect of you. I hope you can donate. That'd be amazing. I hope we're all in that position. You can do that. In fact, if you want to, you can go to patreon.com/sharpeway and put a couple bucks in there, 10, 20 bucks a month to keep me going too, if you want to. But either way, pay your bills. Get your unemployment. Get your Trump bucks, whatever. Take your Social Security. If you're making it, get it. Absolutely. Pay your bills. It doesn't mean you still can't fight the system. It doesn't mean you still can't try to make things better to where you don't need it anymore. And I hope we can all make it better to where we don't need it anymore. That would be amazing. So if Jim and yourself win, what executives you support to push for? It's a great question. I would immediately, we discussed already. Cannabis comes off the Schedule 1 off the bat. Cannabis off Schedule 1 immediately. Boom. Right? Absolutely comes off immediately. Because why is it even there? I don't understand that, right? There's no way that could even work, right? So do I want to abolish the IRS? Yes. Now, this is why people talk about fair tax or flat tax and those taxes. If I could make a tax that would abolish the IRS, if that was possible, I'm in. I know some of you don't like fair tax or flat tax. You get mad at me when I say I'm okay with these taxes. You get upset. No, it's got to be no income tax. I wish we could, but it's the, sorry, not 16th, 13th Amendment, right? 13th Amendment, is that? Ooh, no, 16th. Shit, I forgot which amendment it was. That allows us to have income tax. We have to now get rid of that amendment. That's how many years? I have an idea. Let's first make it to where we don't need an IRS anymore. Make the tax so simple, no IRS. No, one simple form, postcard, done. Love it. Simplify, 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 right? That's what I'm talking about. Simplify, simplify, simplify. So yes, I want to abolish it. However I can simplify that, I am okay. Absolutely. Yeah. The Federal Reserve artificially controls interest rates and facilitate moving wealth from the poor to the corporate elites. Yes. Yes. Yep. Would you be willing to get arrested for showing up to the VP debate uninvited, but a candidate? Whitney and Kokesh have said they would do it. Their nominee, Whitney, has since withdrawn from the race. No. Why would I get arrested? For what? No. I'm not going to that thing. No. I'm not doing it. Why? I'm going to have my own. You won't let me in your party? I have my own party. My party's better than your party. I don't need your stupid party. Mine's better. So no. They don't want me in their cool club. I'm going to make a better club. You wish you were in my club. That's my answer. I'm not going to get arrested so I can be. No, I'm not doing it. Nope. Please. People who want to do this, it is an amazing idea. If that's what you want to do, please do it. Home run, go do it. Not me. I'm going to make my own cool club. I'm going to have my own debate, my own town hall. Even better, stronger, faster. That's what I'm doing. So let's see. I got to keep going down here. What is all this I hear about Jim Gray and Larry Sharpe being literal communists? I hear you want to tax everyone rich and wealth with UBI. Oh, I love that. Oh, thank you, Craig. Yes. First up, no, I'm against UBI. I've been against UBI forever. So people say, well, Larry, how in the world can you support the negative income tax that Jim Gray wants if you're against UBI. Who says I do? Who says I do? Did I ever bring up a negative income tax? Who says I do? Now you might go, Larry, what are you talking about? You tell me you don't support the same thing that Judge Gray does? Who says I do? Since when do I have to? I'm the guy who said forever 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule. There are many things that people believe that I don't support, libertarians, and I still support them. We're all allies, right? I was just the other day, there's a candidate who wants to bring all the troops home and dismiss them, discharge them immediately. It is a horrible idea. And if that candidate wins, I will support that candidate, and I will be in the press defending that candidate, just like I defended Gary Johnson in 2016 when he was doing Aleppo and all that stuff. I was defending them, absolutely. I defended our gubernatorial candidate in 2014. I defended our mayoral candidate here in 2017. I went up and supported other candidates in 2019 that I didn't agree with everything they were doing in New York State. Of course, I will always disagree with people. So what? They are still way better than any Democrat or Republican. And if any of you call yourself libertarian, and I know some of you don't, but if you do, when you're like, I'm libertarian, and you would say, oh, this guy believes in this one thing I don't like, therefore I'm not going to vote for him. What's wrong with you? You're going to vote for Biden now? You're going to go back to Trump? What are you going to do? Does the guy or gal who gets this, right, does that person, do you agree with them on 80%? That's my 80-20 rule. If someone agrees with you 80% of the time, they're your ally, not your enemy. If you think otherwise, I don't know why you're even involved in politics. Just stay home in your basement. I don't know why you're even imagining this. They're still your ally. And you can maybe convince them to change their mind or turn or whatever the case may be. Yeah, absolutely. But you're going to now go to Biden or Trump now? Because whatever, you don't like Kokesh's idea of no borders? Maybe you don't. But isn't Kokesh better than the other two? I went on record saying I'd vote for Arvin Vohra over a Democrat Republican, and Arvin Vohra craps on me all the time. And I still would vote for him over Democrat Republican. And if he wins the nomination, I'll still be in the press defending his statements horribly. But I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it, yes. Because he's still better than them. So of course I don't agree with everything that Judge Gray says. Of course not. If you guys know who I am, you know what I've said 1,000 times. Of course. And I still support him 100%. Of course. If I agree with someone 80% of the time, I can still support them 100%. Why wouldn't I? They're still better than everybody else, and they're my ally. I've supported many people. Some of you may not know this. I've actually gone out and raised money for 10 different libertarian candidates. Do you think I agree with every single thing each of them said? No, of course not. But they were still better than every other Democrat Republican that was out there, without question. And 80%, yes. If someone does not agree 80%, that person is probably not libertarian enough for you. They probably aren't. You should go someplace else. But if they're 80%, we're good. We're good. That's how I feel. That's what I preach. That's what I practice. That's what I practice. So, Craig, I don't know. I guess we're communists now. I don't know. I didn't know how it happened. I don't know. So, Jim Gray, the judge, he cares about people. He has a similar issue with Gary Johnson. A lot of people didn't like Gary Johnson's bake the cake answer. Those of you who were around in 2016 know what I'm talking about, right? The reason why Gary Johnson felt the way he felt was because he wanted things to be fair, and he understood the culture behind the racism in our country. He understood the feeling behind it. It didn't feel right. And that's where he took a stand. What I loved about Gary Johnson, and still love about Gary Johnson, even though people get mad at me when I say I don't care, I still love Gary Johnson, is he was honest. He didn't hide his feelings. He didn't run from it. He didn't change. Oh, well, I've changed. He said, no, this is how I feel in this. And you guys got to support me or not. It's who I am. You're not getting perfection. You're getting a good, solid libertarian. Do you want me or not? And we said yes. And I would vote for him again. I wish he was president now. I wish we had an honest man like Gary Johnson as president right now. I'd vote for him again. If I could, I'd vote for him again. Jim Gray is the same. He's a good, honest man who cares about people, and his negative income tax idea is a way of getting people to have some kind of hope and help that is understandable for people. If for anyone who believes in their heart, if you believe we're just going to end all public assistance, you live in a fantasy world. You live in a fantasy world if you believe it's going to happen. You do not understand what country you live in. You probably should go back to your basement. You don't know what country you live in. Or you have a circle of people who are lying to you. This country is nowhere near ending public assistance. We're about to give every American another $2,000 a month for nothing. And you're like, we got to end welfare. What planet do you live on? It's not this one. It's some other planet. This planet, we're nowhere near that. So let's shift in the right direction so we can start bringing that down. That's the actual answer. So I hope that was clearer, Craig. I haven't become communist yet. Maybe one day, but not yet. And the judge is absolutely not a communist. I hope that was clear. So there we go. Dude, I can't agree 80% with my bank. Nice. Yes, I like the 80-20 rule a lot. I do tremendously. If we were to be that way, we'd fight a whole lot less. We would just fight a whole lot less. And I wish we really would fight a whole lot less. We don't have to be so angry at each other all the time. We can have, some of you have noticed something. I'm not in any VP debates, right? I'm running for VP. I'm not in VP debates. I had my biggest, what I think is my strongest competitor on my Libertarians Drinking Coffee live show last Friday. That was on purpose. I didn't want people to think that I didn't want to talk to him at all. I happen to think that Spike's brilliant. I just didn't want to fight him. I wanted to have a public conversation so that people could see where he stood and where I stood, and that in reality, we disagree on probably 5 or 10% of our libertarianism. Otherwise, we're good. And I told him something very important. I said, why in the world would I be in a debate with you and yell and scream and call you names and have people set it up so I have to be mean to you, and then a month later go, oh, by the way, vote for this guy? No, I'm going to say that I respect you. You're a good guy. And in a month from now, we're friends again. And maybe a month from now, I'm supporting you, or you're supporting me, or we're both supporting somebody else. Any of those three things could be happening. So how about we don't fight so much? This is why I talk a lot about the 80-20 rule. It's why I spend so much time talking about the 80-20 rule. It's really important for us. I want us to try to make things better with us. So, yeah, some people like the UBI, you know, and I'm good, fine. I'm not a fan, but fine. You know what? If you're a libertarian and you're okay on bringing the troops home, you're okay on ending the war on drugs, you're okay on stopping the surveillance state, you're okay on crushing our military-industrial complex, you're okay on shutting down taxes, and the only thing you got is UBI, we're in. Me and you, brother, we're in. Yes, because I get nothing with the R's and D's. Zip, nothing. I get zero. Nothing with them. You, I'm in. I'll take it. Whatever I can get out of this, I would absolutely take it. Yes. Okay, so Ryan thinks I should do it like tomatoes. Fine. We'll do whichever we want. I love it. But yes, you are right. Poverty is the ultimate crime, right? And it's not really a crime, but you know what I mean. When government makes us poor, and in this case, it literally is a self-inflicted wound that's making us poor, that's the ultimate crime. More people are going to die and be hurt and be crushed because of poverty than anything else. Anything else. And I agree with Pete. You can donate your Trump bucks to Larry Sharpe. Absolutely, if you want to. Again, if you want to head over to patreon.com/Sharpe Way and donate. Thank you. It was 16th Amendment. I sometimes get confused between those two as I'm going through my head. I appreciate that. Yes, 16th was the one. Yes, exactly right. Thank you so much. So yes, absolutely. If you can do that, it'd be great. As always, like, comment, and share. head on over to the Facebook page, like it, the Sharpe Way Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page, Sharpe Way. It matters so I can get those eyeballs and people will look. Follow me on Twitter. And if you got some extra cash, if you like what I'm doing, if there's value in what I'm doing and you care, then support me. Head over to patreon.com/SharpeWay. Throw me 10, 20 bucks, 40 bucks. If you're wealthy and you got the cash, throw me 500 bucks a month. I love it. But if you're not in that position right now, you're either scared you can lose your job or you lost your job, no worries. Like, comment, and share. It's free and it still helps. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for tonight. I appreciate it. I hope I answered all your questions. I hope it was clear in what I was saying. Please keep commenting if you like. I will see you guys all tomorrow here on the Sharpe Way.